East Idaho Newsmakers is brought to you by the Bank of Commerce, your bank of a lifetime.
This is East Idaho Newsmakers with Nate Eaton.
Welcome to East Idaho Newsmakers. Today we are talking with the CEO of the Girl Scouts of Silver Sage. Pat Pyke is here with us. We're glad that you could come in and talk with us. First of all, what is Silver Sage? Give us an overall view of what that program is.
Silver Sage is one of the 112 Girl Scout councils in the United States. And Silver Sage covers, it's one of the largest councils. It covers 39 counties, mostly southern Idaho, a little bit of northern Nevada, and eastern Oregon.
Okay, so we're looking at pretty much anyone watching in East Idaho would be part of Silver Sage.
Yes, okay. Absolutely. I think we cover 79,000 square miles,
oh, wow.
Pretty big territory.
And you've been with the Girl Scouts almost 4 months now.
Yes, almost 4 months. This is my third trip to eastern Idaho, which is such an important part of our region, and I intend to spend a lot more time over here.
Well, good. We're going to talk about a lot of issues today with the Girl Scouts. Of course, the first thing that I want to talk about is an announcement that came just days ago from the Boy Scouts of America that girls will now be allowed to participate in some of the programs. First of all, your thoughts about that, and is this going to hurt Girl Scouts?
Well, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts in Idaho have a pretty darn good relationship, and we haven't yet heard about how it's going to affect Boy Scouts in Idaho and what kind of programs that they're going to have. So Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts are both chartered by the U.S. Congress, and Girl Scouts has a 100-year history of fulfilling our charter to work with girls. We are the premier leadership organization for girls in the world. We have affiliates in 146 countries, and it's a proven leadership development program. So we're going to keep working on our 100 years of history and evolution and new programs all the time to serve our girls who become leaders in Idaho and around the country and around the world.
So right now, do you anticipate some of the girls that might be in Girl Scouts might move over to Boy Scouts, or I guess it's kind of unsure at this point?
Right. We don't know what to predict. We have girls that are very focused on their Girl Scout journey. Girl Scouts is about engaging the girls and helping each girl discover her potential, and then they can explore anything in Girl Scouts, anything they're interested in, from canoeing to horseback riding to, we have 23 new STEM and outdoor badges. So our Girl Scouts are pretty committed to their Girl Scout journeys and developing themselves and becoming leaders in their community. Boy Scouts is also a leadership development program, and they have their history of 100 years also, more than 100 years also, of developing boys into leaders in our community.
What did you think when you heard the news the other day? Were you kind of surprised?
A little bit surprised. I have talked to my Boy Scout counterparts, so we knew they were considering this at their national conference, but we didn't know what the outcome would be.
Do you foresee Girl Scouts ever allowing boys in?
That's something that would be, I just got back from our national convention. It's held only once every 3 years, and they have a big business meeting that explores every little change to the Constitution, and changing even a small item in the Constitution at Girl Scouts would take a lot of study and debate. Part of our leadership role is to work on, really understand how we can best serve girls in their leadership development. So it would probably be a multi-year exploration process if that kind of idea were ever considered, and I haven't heard anything to that effect. We're going to stick with our charter to serve girls. We have a long history of, as I said, of serving girls and developing powerful leaders in the world.
How many girls in Idaho do you know are involved, or at least in your council?
Yeah. In our council, there are about 4,100 girl members and another 23 or so hundred adult members. And in this part of, in the Girl Scouts of Silver Sage, those members, so it's a little bit under 7,000 members. That membership is really amplified by all the service that they do in the community. I'm here in eastern Idaho to recognize girls who are leaders in the community in eastern Idaho, and Girl Scouts give back. Last year our council gave about 280,000 hours of community service. So the girls here in eastern Idaho have been doing all kinds of things, from raising awareness about homelessness, raising funds and programs for the youth bank, for the food bank, for the Ronald McDonald House. They have been working in their own communities on bike safety for other kids and basketball camps. They are doing a lot of work in their community. So every one of those girls and troops that has a project touches tens, 20s, sometimes hundreds of more other youth in their community.
So when I lived on the East Coast, Girl Scouts was big with a lot of the girls of my coworkers and whatnot. And it seems here, is it a bigger thing on the East Coast, or it seems to be less prominent here, except the cookies, Everybody knows the cookies in the springtime. Springtime, is that when they come out? Yeah,
they come out, January through March is cookie season, so yep, it wraps up right around spring break. And our good news is that the s'more cookie is back this year. Everybody's been waiting. Well, it was a new cookie last year, and we weren't sure whether it was going to come back, because sometimes they rotate out the specialty cookies, but s'mores are back. So yeah,
you heard it here first.
Yeah.
So everyone knows the cookies, but then a lot of people don't know what else the Girl Scouts do. And you just kind of gave us a good rundown about community service projects, but for those people that might not be familiar, are these girls actually meeting every week and having troop meeting and organizing projects and doing canoeing and crafts and whatnot?
Yeah, and they're doing so much more than crafts and cookies. Girl Scouts is a girl-led organization, and that is what makes leaders, is because it's girl-led. And what that means is that the girls get to decide what programs that their troops do. Their troops might want to go on a journey to learn about their local community and their environment, or how they can help their community. So even from the littlest ones, the daisies that are kindergartners or first grade, they get to work on journeys and badges where they get to discover whatever they're interested in and try out new things. Photography, sports, and now we have a really strong focus on STEM and the outdoors. They can learn to think like an engineer, think like a computer scientist, think like a citizen scientist, learn outdoor survival skills. They also can, of course, go to camp, and they can camp with their troop. They can go on national and international journeys, adventures, and service projects. That's a really, really big part of the experience for the older girls. And community service is really a big part of it. We have we have an award level system. There's bronze, silver, and gold. And the older girls work on their gold awards, can work on their gold awards. It's the highest and most prestigious award that a Girl Scout can get. And they really delve deeply into a problem in their community and find other partners. And they have to build a sustainable project that addresses something. For example, Anne, one of the girls in Boise, developed a nonprofit called Running Shoes for Refugees. And she's a runner, she's a track runner herself, and she wanted to get refugee kids integrated into the community, and what better way than through running. So the girls find a lot of ways that they develop themselves and then use those skills in their community.
Excellent. I would imagine years ago, STEM programs really weren't emphasized because the world has changed so much. And it sounds like that's kind of the shift of Girl Scouts, at least in one aspect, is toward these STEM programs. Is that in a way to prepare these girls for the workforce and for college and universities? Yeah,
Girl Scouts has always been about giving girls opportunity. Our founder, Juliet Gordon-Low, is very forward-thinking. And Girl Scouts was founded in 1912, and by 1913 they had an electrician badge and a flyer badge, which is sort of like aeronautics. So there was always a really strong focus on STEM. So it's really no wonder that 90% of NASA's female astronauts, there's 40 female astronauts, were Girl Scouts, and 80% of women tech leaders were Girl Scouts. So although there hasn't until now been an announced program that we're focusing on STEM, there's really always been a focus on STEM. We've really upped the game in the last couple of years. Girl Scouts offers more girl STEM programs across the country than any other organization. Just this year in Idaho, we had STEM programs for about 800 girls. And yes, it is about giving them opportunities and helping them see the opportunities so that they can have careers that fit their interests, that they don't see any limitations. We had a study that just came out this summer, and Girl Scouts are nearly twice as likely than non-Girl Scouts to say they want to have a career in STEM, be a scientist, an engineer, or a computer scientist.
Why do you think the Boy Scouts gets so much more publicity? There seems to be a big push for Boy Scouts, at least in this area, and Girl Scouts kind of seems to be on the wayside. Why do you think that is, and is that changing?
Yeah, and gosh, that's an interesting perception.
Maybe that's just how I perceive it. I know as a boy, I was encouraged to do Scouts, and my sisters didn't do Girl Scouts. And it might just be on a family issue. That might just be my perspective, but I'm curious if that's kind of how you see it, or?
You know, we think Girl Scouts is a really, one of the best kept secrets, and we want to, we want to share the secret with everyone. Right now, our foci are on outdoors, civic engagement, entrepreneurship, and STEM. So there is really something for everyone, every girl, any interest that fits into a girl's life. And the other thing that I think is that I mentioned the girls, the Gold Award girls, who build these sustainable projects that have lasting impact in their community. The girls are in it to help their community. And I think that we haven't been very good at sort of tooting our own horn. I mean, I think that's the girl way. The girls help others. Girls are invested in their community. They donate so many hours to community service, and they forget to raise their hand and say, hey, we're doing good things over here. And I think that that's part of it. I think it's just something that, a way that in our society that girls operate. And we want girls to be courageous and confident and bold, and we'd like to change that, and we'd like more attention on the great work that our girls are doing in Idaho.
Well, and that's part of the reason we're doing this show, to let people know about that. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, I want to talk a lot more about other skills that the Girl Scouts offer, also how this is helping so many girls all over the world and here in Idaho. So we'll be right back.
At the Bank of Commerce, we understand the hard work, determination, and sacrifice it takes to run a successful business. That's why we're here every step of the way to help make your dreams come true. The Bank of Commerce, your bank of a lifetime.
Welcome back to East Idaho Newsmakers. Today, Pat Pyke is here with us. She is the CEO for the Girl Scouts of America Silver Sage Council, which includes all of southeast Idaho, parts of Oregon and Washington.
Yep, and the rest of southern Idaho, parts of eastern, a little bit of eastern Oregon, a little bit of northern Nevada.
Northern Nevada, okay. So we were talking during the commercial break that I have a young daughter who's 4, and it would be great to get her in Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts can start when?
They can start at age 5 and kindergarten, so they need to be enrolled in kindergarten. So they can participate in Girl Scouts from age 5 all the way up through 18, and then as an adult too. And the 5 and 6-year-olds are called daisies. And boy, they have no fear. They explore, they camp, they tell their leaders what they want to do and what they want to learn about. In Boise, we recently had a group of little daisies that wanted to learn about kids that didn't have homes. So they went over to the Interfaith Sanctuary, and they saw where kids sleep during the night, and then they have to leave during the day. And those little daisies were very concerned about those children, and especially the babies. They were very concerned about the babies. What do they do about diapers during the day? So they made kits for the kids and the families to take with them during the day. So they could have snack kits and diaper kits. And they were very vocal about how they wanted to make sure the babies had diapers and snacks. So even at kindergarten and first grade, these girls are leading us forward. And I can't think of anything more that the world needs than these strong little leaders with positive values that even at that age, they know how to work together, and they're already making their community a better place.
And it's likely that those girls will remember that for a long time, that trip to the homeless shelter to see where these people sleep, and then trying to solve a little problem or a big problem. All of this is run by volunteers, at least at the local level.
Absolutely, it is. One of the key ingredients of Girl Scouts, of Girl Scouting, is caring adults who mentor and work with the girls of all ages. And I really would love to invite everyone and anyone to get involved in Girl Scouts. If you have any interest in developing this next generation of leaders, we can bring in volunteers and incorporate volunteers in any capacity. You can work directly with a group, with a team of adults. So they can share the burden. Although most people think it's not a burden working with directly with the kids, it is such a joy. There are many behind the scenes opportunities. You can sponsor a troop to do a badge at your business workplace. You can sponsor a troop. You can work on a one-time event. We have a lot of STEM programs and activities. You can participate behind the scenes as something like being a treasurer or a cookie manager. Who wouldn't want to be a cookie manager for a troop or a group of troops? And we have a lot of great new opportunities. Since we're girl-led, our older girls have said, we love the camping, we love the ropes course, we love the paddle boarding, but we want more high adventure. So we have formed an outdoor club, and the older girls met just this past week, and there's about 40 of them that are telling their leaders what they would like to do, what kind of adventures they want to have. We're in Idaho. They better have some high adventures and have those to tell when they grow up. So we are looking for adults to also work with the new outdoor club for girls. If you have an interest in outdoor adventure, I'm sure there's a skill that you could plug in for a week or a couple of weeks or a month to work with these girls.
And if I'm watching at home and think, yeah, I want to do that, or I want to enroll my little girl in Girl Scouts, what do you do?
It's super easy. There's a couple of different ways. First, you can go ahead and email us. We're Silver Sage Council, so that's SSC. So you can email gs@girlscouts-ssc.org, or go to our website, which is just www.girlscouts-ssc.org, and I think there's a button that click on that says I want to be a Girl Scout, or I want to be a volunteer, or learn more. Those kind of, you can find the buttons. But in any doubt, just email us, gs@girlscouts-ssc.org.
And we'll put that in the story below, a link to their site, so
Yeah.
you can go straight there.
That would be great.
Where do you foresee the future of Girl Scouts?
We foresee a really bright future. Our Girl Scouts are one of the most forward-thinking organizations. I mentioned the new STEM, I mentioned the new outdoors, and I think that Girl Scouts right now is really tuning in and listening to the needs of girls and families. And why I think that why we're focusing on growth and why I think there's a really bright future for Girl Scouts is because girls face a lot of pressure in the world. And we have research-proven programs. And we just got back some new research that shows that Girl Scouts are, compared to their peers, are much more likely to engage in healthy relationships, to have a positive sense of self, to have positive values, to be engaged in their community, and to take risks appropriately and learn from them. And I think if we can get that message out, that's the kind of program that girls and families would want their girls to be involved in. We all know about middle school girls, and during the teen years, girls have self-esteem problems. Some. I know I was pretty awkward as a teenager, and girls who are in Girl Scouts actually have a little bit of a bump up in their sense of self when they enter middle school and then teen years. And they have a bump up in their community engagement, much more so compared to girls who are not involved in Girl Scouts. So we think we have some really positive benefits in this era when girls have so much pressure coming from the cyber world and from just the fast pace, all the activities that they're involved in.
It says here that last year the Girl Scouts of Silver Sage performed 279,210 hours of community service.
And that's just the ones that we counted.
That's the ones that you counted. I don't know how many days that is, but that's a lot of days.
Yes. So he said Girl Scouts Give Back is really one of the fundamental tenets of Girl Scouts. When a girl discovers her passion, say it's in say that her passion is for animals. That's great that she's discovered her passion, and she probably has many other interests too, because we want girls to be well-rounded. What girls then do is connect with others in their community who share their passion, and then they take action to apply that passion to serve their community. So a girl that's really interested in animals might get involved with a humane society, or might get involved with a national park. What Girl Scouts is about is taking who you are and what you're interested in and applying it in your community to make the world a better place. And that's where all those hours of community service come from, is because every girl, if you take every one of those girls and they're out there trying to figure out how they can use what they've learned about themselves to make the world a better place, then that adds up to a lot of hours.
That's great. Well, as I mentioned, we're going to put a link to the Girl Scouts website down below. A lot going on with outdoors activities, with the STEM program, with self-esteem, boosting self-esteem, with leadership, getting along with others, camping, you name it, you've got it. And of course the cookies. Can you get it so that they can add more cookies to the package? Something like that?
Oh, well, you can just buy more boxes. There you go. Yeah.
I don't need to buy more boxes. But what is your favorite kind of cookie? Girl Scout.
I'm a Samoa fan. And it works out really well because in my household, my husband is a tag-along fan.
Yes.
So he doesn't eat my Samoas that much. So I get to have the Samoas and he gets to have the tag-alongs. And another thing about Girl Scout cookies is that, I don't know if you know this, if there are actually some people that don't eat a lot of cookies, but they can still buy Girl Scout cookies because the Girl Scouts have a large number of cookies that they donate to the troops or to shelters. So Girl Scout cookies are really for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
And they last well in the freezer, from what I understand.
Especially Thin Mints. And break them up on vanilla ice cream. Nothing better.
Where does that money go? Where does the Girl Scout cookie money go?
The Girl Scout cookie, I don't have the chart that shows the breakdown. That's how the girls earn their money for their projects and for their camps and for their travels. That's how they earn their troop money. And so that's their primary fundraiser and revenue source. So a large portion of that goes directly to the troops. A lot of it also then, another large portion also goes to programs. We maintain 2 camps in Idaho, and they're both absolutely gorgeous. Maintaining big camps takes a little bit of resources, and I'm really excited that Camp Tamanowis, which is outside of Swan Valley, it is absolutely beautiful if you've never been up there. It's such a beautiful camp. We were able to reopen it just last year for resident camping, and it has this big, old, gorgeous lodge that was built in 1964 that would cost a fortune to rebuild right now. And it has 2 horse corrals, and we've been up there restoring, our team has been up there, I've been up there once, restoring the horse corral to bring horses back, to make it into a horse camp again so that girls can ride horses from there next summer. This past 2 summers, they've done more traditional camping. So
that's here in East Idaho.
That's
Swan
here
Valley.
in Eastern Idaho. It is absolutely beautiful up there.
That's great.
Yeah, and girls, even if they're not signed up during the year to be in a troop, they can sign up in the summer to go to camp too.
Excellent. Well, Pat Pyke, we're glad you could stop by today. Again, Pat Pyke is the CEO for the Girl Scouts of America's Silver Sage Council. We will include a link to the Girl Scouts down below if you're interested in learning more or have daughters or friends that may want to become involved. Again, there is a need right now for volunteers, so if you have some time and want to help out this great organization, feel free to sign up, and thank you for watching. Have a good week.
East Idaho Newsmakers is brought to you by the Bank of Commerce, your bank of a lifetime.